Cardiac monitoring part 3. In this section, we're going to learn how to read the graph paper. We've got one objective, and that's to learn how to read the graph paper. Identify and explain the grids and markings on a representative strip of ECG paper. So your standard ECG graph paper, when it leaves the cardiac monitor, no matter what type of monitor it is going to leave the machine at a consistent speed of 25 millimeters per second. This gives us a calibrated view so that the time measurements and the amplitude measurements are going to be consistent. So if you notice on an ECG graph paper, now this is a blown up view of the ECG graph paper, but if you notice on this paper, you will have small boxes and then you will have big boxes. So each small box represents 0.04 seconds. So on the horizontal axis, this represents time. And the vertical axis represents amplitude or voltage, or essentially the size of the waveform. So each small box, again, represents 0.04 seconds. In one large box that consists of 5 of the 0.04 seconds, that gives you a total of 0.20 seconds. Up and down, each small box represents 1 millimeter, so one large box is going to represent 5 millimeters. As the graph paper moves past the needle or pin of the ECG machine, it measures time and amplitude. Again, time is measured on the horizontal plane. When the ECG is recorded at a standard paper speed of 25 millimeters per second, each small square up and down equals 1 millimeter, and left to right equals 0.04 seconds. And each large square, the dark vertical lines up and down, would equal 5 millimeters in 0.20 seconds. So it will take 5 of these boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on the horizontal axis to equal 1 second. And again, I don't know if you remember, but in the first lecture I said you've always got to look at your strip in a 6-second increment. The time interval markings denoted by short vertical lines, and usually they're located at the top of ECG graph paper. Now, because of this lecture being recorded, you don't. And one thing that I would strongly encourage you to do, go to a clinical graph paper out of the monitor and look and pay attention to it and make sure that you note the sizes and the different markings on it. So again, each 3-second interval contains 15 of your large square boxes. So a 6-second interval is going to contain 30 of your large square boxes. So again, you're going to need 30 of these boxes in order to have a full 6-second strip. So make sure that you're paying attention to that, because that helps you to calculate heart rate. And this will make more sense as we're going through and we're actually using the graph paper, because from here on out, when we are actually looking at the graph paper, we're going to use it pretty consistently. So again, on your ECG graph paper, each small box equals 0.04 seconds. 5 of the small boxes will make up one large dark highlighted box, and that's going to equal 0.20 seconds. It takes 0.20 seconds to make 1 second, 15 boxes to make a 3-second time, and it takes 30 boxes to make a 6-second time interval on the graph paper.